Yo, what's up, sports bettors? We got a full slate of baseball, and I'm going to be taking you through a little three-pick parlay. And again, the goal of these videos is to be educational, so I'll include this kind of presentation in the description. It breaks down how parlays work, the math behind parlays, because you can absolutely make money betting on parlays, right? It all boils down to do the picks in your parlay, do the bets in your parlay all have an edge? Does each of the plays in your parlay have a mathematical edge? And if the answer is yes, then you're going to be profitable betting on parlays. So here you can see my verified bet tracker. For 2023, I use this bet tracker called Pickett Sports. I'll include a link in the description to follow me on Pickett. But basically, like parlays compared to straight bets, they just have more variance, right? And by that, I mean for a parlay, you need at least two bets to win. So when you're playing things in parlays as opposed to straight bets, you're going to be less likely to win, right? If you're placing a two-pick parlay as opposed to two straight bets, you're going to be less likely to win because for a straight bet, you just have to win one out of the two bets to cash. Whereas for a parlay, you have to win both picks. So there's going to be more variability. But long story short, in this video, I'm kind of going to break down three parlay picks that I went with for today from the OddsJam Positive EV tool, right? So the Positive EV tool is a pretty simple betting tool, but I use it all the time in my day-to-day betting. And the reason I like it is, right, there's no BS, right? Like the way that the Positive EV tool works is pretty simple, is you can look, we're just looking at one baseball game. There's, like 15 baseball games today, something like that. But there's tons of different things you can bet on, right? Like if you just go to Runline, as an example, if we just switch over to Runline, you're going to see even for just one MLB game in one state, every location has different sports books. I mean, there is limitless stuff you can bet on, right? There's all these alternate spreads, all this stuff, all these different sports books. So all OddsJam is doing is scanning through these millions of odds, right? It's tens of thousands of odds for each game. We're just looking at one betting market, Runline. If you switch over to total runs, there's going to be a ton more stuff you can bet on, right? So all OddsJam is doing is for the sports books you use, the Positive EV tool, for whatever sports books you have selected, whatever, books you use, is just pointing out value in the market, right? We all use different sports books. I'm currently in California. FanDuel, Caesars, WynnBET, DraftKings, MGM, they're not legal, right? There's a ton of profitable bets. I've explained before, like as a sharp bettor, you're going to run hot on some books, some, a little cold on others, but you want to have as many sportsbook accounts as possible because you never know where the value is going to be on a given day. So my parlay is going to be on Fliff Sportsbook, which is a sportsbook I signed up for recently. It's legal in basically every state. So it's legal in, California. It's right here, Fliff Sportsbook, right? It's legal in a bunch of different places. I have a bunch of different bets. You can see a bunch of different soccer bets, MLS, tennis plays, whatever, right? Wherever I can find value, I can find an edge. I'm placing a bet. So my first play is right here, right? So we'll go through this pick first. Brewers, Reds. I'm on Williamson under 4.5 strikeouts at minus 105 odds. Yo, so sorry if my computer cut out. I accidentally hit the back button. But what I was saying is as a sports bettor, right, price matters. And by that, I mean the odds that you are getting on a play really matters, right? You think about an investor. You think about a day trader. They're always looking for value, for an edge in the market, right? Like it all boils down to the price that you're getting, which means the odds that you're getting. Odds in sports betting are just prices. So what you're going to notice about this play on Brandon Williamson is every sportsbook, aside from Fliff, has his under 4.5 strikeouts pretty heavily favored, right? Every sportsbook has lines juiced towards the under, right? As you can kind of see right here, Bet Online, a really sharp sportsbook. Pinnacle right here, which is known to be the sharpest sportsbook in the world. They have this at minus 178 odds. This is known to be the smartest, the sharpest bookmaker. They're pricing this at minus 178. You can get it at minus 105 in Fliff. So on the Positive EV tool, right? So this Positive EV tool, the play in green, right? So Williamson under 4.5 strikeouts, this is the profitable bet. And I know it seems simple, but again, as a sharp bettor, we're hunting through the market. We're looking for value, That's all you're doing all day long. If you want to make money sports betting, all this profit and loss in 2023, it's not coming from me building my own complex model, right? Not at all. It's all coming from finding value, finding price discrepancies in the market. And what you're going to notice is for Williamson, every single sports book, like literally every single one, except for Fliff, has his under pretty heavily favored. And some of the sharpest sports books, the smartest bookmakers like BetOnline and Pinnacle, have his under really heavily favored. Like we're getting 73 cents better on Fliff compared to Pinnacle minus 178, which is the sharpest bookmaker in the world. So this is how you think as a sports bettor, right? Like you consider every book as a data point on where the line should be set, and then you hunt for big enough discrepancies, right, where there's enough value to make a bet profitable. This is how you make money sports betting. Every dollar of my profit has come from this. I never just wake up and say, oh, I want to bet on Williamson under 4.5 strikeouts, right? That's not how it works. It was just the same way when I was a trader, right, when I worked on Wall Street, or when you're a poker player. I'm also a big poker player. You don't go to the table and say, I'm going all in on the third hand, right? It depends on your position. It depends on the cards you're dealt, right? So you're hunting through the market, looking for value as a sports bettor, which is exactly like being an investor, trader, or poker player, right? So what you're going to notice is all the books have this under heavily favored. You're getting it at minus 105 on Fliff, which is really clear value, right? So this is a good play. And again, you could play this as a straight bet. You could play this in a parlay. It doesn't matter. It's a profitable play. So it's going to be profitable in a parlay. It's going to be profitable in a round robin or a straight bet. So what we need to do next is we need to use the odds on Pinnacle. So to figure out what is the win probability for our bet. And you're going to see for Brandon Williamson K's, it's 60.07%. So this calculator may seem complicated, but what you have to remember, and I mean, this goes back to like middle school math, is every odd is just a probability, right? So if you think about it, if we go over to a no-vig odds calculator, let's say the Nuggets are minus 200 favorites. I think they're bigger favorites, but let's just imagine they're minus 200 favorites in game 2, right? All minus 200 means is a 2-to-1 betting favorite, right? Minus 200 is a 2-to-1 favorite, plus 200 is a 2-to-1 underdog. So what that means is the sports books, right? And again, like you're not smarter than these books. Pinnacle is taking bets from all around the market. They've invested hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. Like you can't just wake up and outsmart the sports books. It's not how it works. It's like thinking to be a great poker player, you can just show up at the poker table with zero idea of the math, of, really anything about poker, the strategy, the math behind poker, how much you should, raise, things like that, and thinking you can just beat everyone in Vegas. That's absolute BS, right? Like, as a sharp bettor, it's all about understanding the data, understanding the math. And here we have literally numerous data points, right? FanDuel, WinBet, Caesars, DraftKings, BetOnline, all these sports books have the under super heavily favored. So we have numerous data points. Fliff is an outlier. Every other book is a data point, super book. And they're all telling us the same thing. Yo, Williamson's under should be really, really heavily favored, right? Around Pinnacle has this at minus 178. These other sports books are around like minus 130. BetOnline's around minus 143, so we're using all this information. As a sports bettor, you use all this information. Every other sports book, where are they setting the line, right? That is all information to try to figure out what should the odds be and am I getting good value on my play. So essentially, right, every odd has an associated probability. So if the Nuggets are 2-to-1 favorites, they're 2/3 to win. Right? Minus 200, 2/3 to win, 66.67% to win. Right? If the Heat are plus 200 underdogs, they're 2-to-1 underdogs, 1/3 to win, 33.33% to win, according to the market. And again, these sports books, they're smarter than me, they're smarter than you. The way you beat sports books, the way I've always beat sports books, made hundreds of thousands of dollars sports betting, is not from just waking up and being like, oh, I watch baseball, so I think I can outsmart the sports books. That's absolute BS. That's 99% of Twitter. all these BS handicappers, it doesn't work. It's all about finding price discrepancies. You're like an investor hunting through the market, looking for those investments that are a little too cheap, right? You're looking for those spots of gold, and they're not easy to find. Like, you got to remember, if we go over to the MLB and we go to, like, whatever, we can look at like player bases. There are thousands of different things you can bet in the MLB, and there's a ton of games today. So maybe we just go to like player strikeouts or something like that, right? So OddsJam is going through, and again, you can select the specific sports books you use. You may use different sports books, but the same strategies apply. Like, I use FanDuel. I'm just not currently in a location where FanDuel is legal. So you're going to see OddsJam is going through all this data, right? There are literally millions of odds being updated to try to point out these rare few betting opportunities that are actually profitable. So essentially, right, odds have associated probabilities. So what we can do is we can put in Pinnacle's market, and what this tool tells you is, hey, Williamson's under is 60% to win, right? That should make sense. We know minus 200. If he were minus 200, that's a 2-to-1 betting favorite, right? 2/3 to win, 66.67% to win. This is minus 178. So it's still the favored outcome, right? According to Pinnacle, the under is a lot more likely than the over. So we know the under is the favored outcome, right? But it's not minus 200. It's not 2/3 to win, 66.67%. It's just 60.07. And you can see, like, okay, according to Bet Online, they have this plus 110, minus 143. So according to them, the under's only 55% to occur, which should make sense, right? Pinnacle has the under more juiced than Bet Online does. So according to Bet Online, the under's the favored outcome. It's 55.27% to win. But according to Pinnacle, they have the under even more favored, even more juiced. They're saying no, right? This is 60.07% to win. So we're going to use Pinnacle just because Pinnacle is known to be the smartest, the sharpest sportsbook out there, right? So essentially, like, you remove the VIG from Pinnacle's market, you remove the juice, and you're going to see they're saying, hey, if you remove the VIG, right, books make money by charging that spread, charging the VIG. We think our fair price is minus 150. We think the under should be minus 150 and the over should be plus 150. That's a market without VIG. That's called true odds or no VIG odds, right? So this calculator is the most important calculator in sports betting. I recommend reading through this text like 5 times, right? Really understand it. My email's in the description if you have questions about the parlays, the math behind sports betting, making money, sports betting, whatever. So long story short, it's like, okay, we know this play looks really good to Pinnacle, right? Like, they have this at minus 178. So even if you don't care about the math, it should be pretty clear, right? We're getting this at minus 105. They're asleep at the wheel. All these other books have this minus 134. Like, you can think about it. Imagine being a stock trader and you go to Fliff and they're saying, hey, the stock's $105. And then FanDuel is another company that sells stocks. And they're like, yo, we think this stock is worth 134. Caesars, 131. DraftKings, 130, right? You go through all these books, and then Pinnacle, who you know is the smartest stock exchange, they're like, no, this stock is worth 178. It becomes pretty clear that getting the stock at 105 is a steal deal, right? And that's exactly what you're doing as a sharp sports bettor. You're treating every book as a data point on where should the line be set, and then you're hunting for value, right? So according to Pinnacle, the under should be priced with the VIG removed at minus 150. We're getting minus 105 on Fliff. So this is insane value, right? So this is the first play I'm going with in my parlay. So the second pick is Kershaw under 6.5 strikeouts, right? So this play has an even higher profit margin, right? So you look at the sports books once again, you're going to notice basically no sports book is even giving you plus odds. Like, none of these books are giving you plus money. You're getting plus 115 on Fliff. Another huge discrepancy. So OddsJam, pretty simple, right? There's no BS in this product. It just updates all these odds, right? Literally thousands of odds for each game just to point out value in the market. So you take a look here, Pinnacle, they have this line minus 116, minus 113. So you're going to notice, okay, they have the over very slightly favored, right? So we're betting the under, which is the underdog, according to Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, right? So their market is minus 116 on the over, minus 113 on the under. So they have the over very slightly favored, right? But it's a very slight favorite. So getting this play at plus 115 is still incredible value, right? Like, sure, they have the under a little bit as the underdog, right? Minus 113 versus minus 116, but still getting this play at plus 115 is clearly enough value to bet it. So once again, what we can do is we can figure out the win probability for this bet. And according to Pinnacle, it's 49.69%, right? You just take their market, you remove the VIG, and you get the true win probability, right? So this should make sense. Like, you can see a lot of sports books, like right here, Bovada, they're giving you the same odds on the over and the under. So if a sports book is giving you the same odds on the over and the under, they're saying, hey, we think both outcomes are 50-50. So according to Bovada's model, right, Kershaw's 50% to go over, 50% to go under. They're giving you the same odds for both plays. So there's no weighting towards one side. It's not like they're saying the over is more likely or the under is more likely. Both are 50-50, right? They're giving you the same odds on both plays. Whereas here, Pinnacle has the over very slightly juiced. So they're saying we think the over is a touch favored. So what we can see is this plays 49.69% to win according to Pinnacle. So that's the third play we have. And then the final play is right here, right? Is I'm on the under. And again, this should be a clear gut check. Like, if you don't care about the math, the bet you want to place in your parlay is the play in green and in bold. And it should be pretty clear, right? No other book is even giving you plus money. You're getting plus 115 on Fliff. It's like, what are they doing? And you have to remember how crazy this is. We're getting an 8.63% profit margin in one bet, right? Like, this game is today, right? I've explained this in other videos, but really the power of sports betting is that your returns are daily, right? So when we place a bet on the MLB with an 8% profit margin, you're earning that 8% ROI every day. Think about it. If you could get a 5% ROI on your bets, because a lot of people will be like, wow, this means, you have a 9% ROI, you're up $90,000 of profit. So that means you bet roughly $900,000 so far this year. So sure, I've bet $900,000 this year and I've made $9,000 profit or $90,000 profit. But I mean, we're in June. We're almost halfway through the year. So let's say there's been 150 days in the year. So what that means is that still seems too high. But regardless, maybe it's right. I bet approximately $6,000 a day in total on average, right? According to my verified bet tracker, which I'm not saying isn't a lot of money. But the point is even if you only bet, $1,000 a day, you'd still be up big money, right? You'd still be up $20,000, whatever it is. So you can make big money doing this, again, because your returns in sports betting are daily, right? This game is today. These returns are daily. So things compound very quickly. So my final play is right here. So we put in Pinnacle's odds. The win probability for this bet is 44.32%. And then we have our parlay, right? So I can go up to my parlay. So I lock this in, as you can kind of see right here. Or right here, I have a bunch of different bets on Fliff. Again, as a sharp bettor, wherever I can find value, I'm placing bets. So you can see I'm betting $250 to win $2.5K, essentially, right? This is Fliff right here. They have you can get it on your computer, this app. But long story short, we have the win probability for each of our bets. So you multiply those numbers together, and that's the win probability for your parlay. My parlay's at 907.4 odds. I'm betting $250. So the profit margin of this parlay is $83, right? So when we talk about, and I'll include this spreadsheet, you can kind of go through the math, the expected value formula yourself. But when I talk about making $90,000 in a year sports betting, it's from finding plays like this. Like this parlay has $83 of profit margin. Is it guaranteed to win? No. You're going to see I go on winning streaks, losing streaks. But if you have an edge, you always win long term, right? So, long story short, this is a parlay with $83 in profit margin. It's not about the specific bet. You could have a coin that's 55% to show up on heads. Doesn't mean it's going to show up on heads the first coin flip, even though heads is the more likely outcome. If you have the edge, you win long term. It's just like being a great poker player, right? Sometimes you go to the poker table, you get dealt bad cards and you don't make money poker, right? Even if you're the best poker player in the world, you probably lose 40% of your days at the poker table, right? So this is the first parlay I went with. Again, feel free to reach out with questions. Really good parlay on Fliff. Hopefully you guys are able to tail it, right? You can see 250 to win 2.5K. I also locked in this other MLB bet, but that's beside the point. Another play from the Odds Jam Positive EV tool. And let's make some money, guys.